managed to put Nora into cryostasis.
Compassion.
When Victor realized that Boyle had no intention of following through on their deal, he decided to do the Huntington's research himself.
On that same
But
foundation.
Boyle didn't like that.
That's why we're called the
The
People Company.
cryochemical cocktail altered Victor's metabolism, as well as the guards. Boyle escaped ahead of the crew and had the lab quarantined. Gotham needs more people like him. Victor survived, but he knew that leaving the supercooled lab
I
would kill him.
am blown away by your support.
So he built himself a suit and utilized an organic supercoolant to keep his core temperature sub-zero. All this violence, he's just trying to save his dying wife.
Now, it's almost midnight, and you all know what that means. Let's get this New Year's Eve party going with the...
The supercoolant Victor uses in his suit is the
Get to
same
pay your
fuel I need for the
heating bill,
cryo.
Bruce.
So from that video, we all saw Mr. Freeze's origin and how iconic it is and how tragic it is. But then the New 52 came about and just kind of screwed with it to make it more unique, make Mr. Freeze actually more relevant. Because, well, you could kill Nora off or free her, but then you didn't really know what to do after that, so they just kind of kept ruining him. Yeah, comic book Mr. Freeze isn't as interesting as B-Taz Freeze or Arkham Freeze. So in the New 52, they decided the revolutionary idea of turning Mr. Freeze into just a creepy stalker. Let me explain. So in this story, there's a little bit of context. It's during the Night of Owls, which is the event where the Court of Owls decide to just personally take over Gotham City. They didn't succeed, of course, but they had help in reviving all their talents from one Mr. Freeze. Because, you know, he's all about the cold, and the way the talents work is that they're super awesome assassins that were frozen in time and are revived to pretty much just be awesome assassins. And are unkillable. But on the night of on the Night of Owls, Victor Freeze has a personal vendetta to get rid of. So it starts off with a flashback of Victor and his mom, who are trying to make their way to a snowman contest. I don't know why they're in the middle of a frozen lake to do this, but whatever. And it's the first snow, and Victor's mom's like, hey, we all about tradition. We all want, you know, to make our snowman more unique by just putting one apple in it. But Victor wants to make it a big snowman, but while he's, you know, rushing off being a kid, he looks back and his mom fell through the ice. In his own words, the ice preserved her until the help came. And now we're in Arkham, where Victor is talking to a psychiatrist, and he's like, hey, what night is today? And he's like, what time is it? And Victor asks what time is it, and Victor gets a response of, I don't know, like 7 a.m., p.m. or whatever. And that's mainly because Victor's about to escape. So he kills the doctor, grabs his crayon, and starts to hotwire his cell to where he can become more powerful, I guess, and escape. And so he starts going through the all the guards, and then he escapes through a food truck. Well, after getting a suit, of course, and then he crashes into the Penguin's penthouse, and man, that suit looks so unpractical for someone that needs to stay in 0 temperatures, man. Like, wow, that's just as bad as Lobo's New 52 outfit, like, man. But anyway, he meets up with Penguin, who Penguin's like, hey, man, you should have called. I mean, I was expecting when I heard that you escaped Arkham. Like, what the heck, man? So I'm just guessing that Penguin just has every villain's gun and, like, weapons ready for them. and it's just like a business thing. So Victor gets his guns and he's like, okay, so we'll throw off the police that because they know I'm coming to you, and it'll be pretty weird if everyone's unharmed. So he frees some of Penguin's men and just tells them to go like dock some money and say that he was robbing him. And so now we get the backstory of Victor Freeze. So instead of working at GothCorp, he worked at Wayne Enterprises and worked under Bruce Wayne. So when Wayne came back from wherever the hell he was, training to become Batman, he took over his company and he was getting a tour of the place. And he got into the cryogenics lab, which he thought he repurposed into a way to, stabilize organs for like organ transplants and stuff. But didn't really doesn't appear that they stopped the cryogenic stuff. Victor's like, oh, Mr. Wayne, this is important work. We can do both. We can do both of them. But really, as soon as Wayne and Lucius leave, Victor reveals his true reason for wanting the cryogenics lab to stay there is because his wife, Nora, is there. And he's like, oh, I'll eventually find a way to cure you and like your heart condition or whatever. And then it flashes back to when Victor is in the exact same room in Wayne Enterprises. But it turns out Nora was moved, and then Robin and Nightwing show up and they're like, dude, stop. We know why you're here. You're here to kill Bruce Wayne and stuff like that and get your wife, but no, we're not. We're gonna stop you. And so Mr. Freeze actually kicks their butt. And it appears that he both has a combination of his ice ray and also the powers he had from the 2004 The Batman series. Awesome Freeze design. This Freeze design sucks. I mean, it could work if, his arms weren't completely exposed for someone that needs to stay in ice cold conditions. I mean, 2004 Batman showed you could totally do the ice power thing. So he kicks their butt, but then before he can kill Robin, Bruce Wayne is like, hey, Victor, just come up to my office. We'll sell this man to men. Mr. Freeze is like, no, I'm going to kill you. Goes up there. And Nightwing and Robin just agreed to stay out of it because clearly Batman wants to go do it because Batman is Bruce Wayne. Shocker. So when Victor gets up there, he then sees Nora in Bruce Wayne's office. He's like, Nora, finally, we can be together. I have the cure to revive you, and the surgeries here will be great, and then we can stand over my enemy's body. Then Batman shows up and is like, Victor, I'm not letting you leave with her. I'm not letting you inject that thing into her. We know you helped the Owls. We aren't letting it. Victor's like, no, you're not getting in the way again of me and my wife. And Batman's like, dude, no, this person is not your wife. She was just a girl that was born in 1945. That was the first person to ever be cryologically frozen. You never loved her at all. No, we love each other. We love each other, Batman. Can't you see? And then it flashes back to the accident where Victor was trying to administer a way to unfreeze her because they didn't know how to unfreeze people at this point. And Bruce is like, Victor, no, I'm shutting this down. I asked you to quit, stop doing this months ago. You didn't listen. You're fired, and we're taking her away from you. And then Victor throws a chair in rage, but it hits ice chemicals because Bruce is Batman, so he dodged it. And then that, of course, mutates Mr. Freeze into Mr. Freeze. And then he has to, and actually explains what the goggles actually do. And it's pretty much that, in a realistic way, his eyes would actually freeze solid. So, because it didn't catch up to his DNA, so they have to have the goggles there so the eyes don't freeze solid. That is the explanation for the goggles. Then back in the present, Batman administers the formula that he was about to give Nora, and is pretty much like, oh, well, you can't move now. All right, Nightwing, get the Batmobile, and we're about to take him back to Arkham. And then it's flashback to Nora, to Victor, and his mom. And his mom appears to have mental damage because of it, because of the accident. So he just throws her back into the water and is like, "Bye, Mom." So, happy fun times. So pretty much the Mr. Freeze in the story is a creepy stalker of Nora, more or less because he's more obsessed with the cold than he is about Nora herself. He's obsessed that she was the first person to be cryogenically frozen, so he just kind of like made up this whole thing of wanting to unfreeze her to be with her. So he pretty much is this Victor, unlike other villains, is purely insane and doesn't actually love Nora at all. You can see why this didn't really stick. Because it kind of doesn't make Victor more tragic, it just kind of makes him creepy and weird. And that's not why people like the tragic Mr. Freeze from the show. And to be fair, not a lot of other comics do this story really well either. And they really can't because they don't really get what made that story pretty tragic. Anyway, and neither really do I, but hey, silver lining, White Knight Victor Freeze was able to be cured and cure his wife Nora, so you know what, silver lining. He's happy in that dimension. We can be happy for that Mr. Freeze, and not this creepy Mr. Freeze. Bye.
Where is she? Where is my wife?
Nora is in safe hands. Now, let's discuss an incident from your childhood.
No.
Then this is over. Guard.
Wait. What do you wish to learn?
Your early years were troubled.
I was not a sociable child, but that is all.
Even your parents disowned you. They sent you away to a reform school, correct?
They did not understand my work.
Your work? According to a police report, you froze over a dozen of your neighbor's pets.
I have always had an interest in cryonic preservation. I didn't understand why my parents allowed our sick pets to die instead of attempting to save them. So I set about finding my own way. I intended to revive all of those creatures.
But you didn't. Which brings us to Nora.